What's going on? I'm AnokhiTheOne, back with another video, and in this video I will be talking about how I went from making 6K, so 6,000 in the year of 2020 and $6,000 in the year of 2021 to making six figures in 2022. Okay, and so this is going to be a Red Pill Radio episode, so it will be a podcast, so I'm gonna be uploading it. You'll be able to listen to it through Apple Podcasts and different things like that. And just to give you kind of backstory on why I've been very quiet in 2022. It was very, very quiet, but also why I hadn't done a actual podcast in a very long time. I think I haven't done a podcast since 2022, but I kind of was turned off by the fact that, you know, the red pill movement. I didn't really want to be associated with the red pill, like the men's movement, red pill movement. But I think about, and I may still change the name, I don't know. But I think about why I started it and why I named it Red Pill Radio was because, you know, I'm in alignment with the whole theme of the Matrix, right? And then 2022 was just like a huge mind-blowing, you know, escape the Matrix situation for a lot of people. And I had already been guided to, you know, my artist name, which is AnokhiTheOne. And one of the first interviews that I did for the podcast was with Sophia Stewart, who is the mother of the Matrix, right? And she broke down, you know, what red pill and the blue pill meant at that time. And this is before that whole movement popped off. And basically the red pill in the movie, and, you know, just in general, the true meaning is human, being a human life versus machines, right? Versus the technology versus, you know, the blue and black ink, right? It is human, choosing human life, choosing to be a human, right? Versus choosing to move and be a machine and to assimilate to the Matrix, right? And so ultimately, and when I think about it, I thought about, like, you know, it's kind of a contradiction, right? That it's like men going their own way, the red pill movement, because a lot of it is going away from women. And, you know, to me, a big part of the agenda that really popped off in 2020 was going against womanhood and women, especially with the LGBT, you know, trans, non-binary, you know, them, they, you know, women with vulvas, all, you know, all this other stuff. What is that other thing that I'm trying to think of? Cis women, all this other, you can't just be a woman, you got to be a woman, right? But ultimately that red blood, right? We have periods, and every human being that comes to this earth comes through a woman, including the red pill concept, including the Matrix concept. And the Matrix is, you know, largely escape the Matrix largely is you being born and coming through the womb, the Matrix, the matriarch. Okay. And so I think that, you know, not allowing myself to let go of the red pill radio concept because of this whole movement that is happening, I don't want to associate myself with that. I think, you know, that's trash. So, you know, I may keep it. And this is going to be the first episode that I have had in a long time. And if you don't like me rambling, well, then this ain't going to be for you, because the whole point of me doing this in a podcast form is because I'm going to be rambling. I'm going to be talking for about an hour or more. So buckle up and buckle down, because this is a long story, and I need to drink some water because it's a lot. So how I went from making 6K in a year to making six figures in a year. And what's interesting is the way that I survived with only 6K in 2020 and 6K in 2021. The way I was able to survive is the way I was able to thrive in 2022, and the way I will continue to thrive beyond, in the beyond, right? And I'll talk a little bit about, probably a lot of it, about how I got to that place, right? Even though it's not too hard to, imagine when everybody is forced to stay in the house and not work for, a period of time, a good period of time. But ultimately it was spiritual guidance. I got really, really spiritually, like I allowed God to lead every decision. I let go. I had no choice. I surrendered. That was a scare. I'm an Aries. I am an Aries, right? Surrendering, we don't do. Okay, we take action. We make it happen. We making something happen. We making it shake, right? And so, and ultimately what it was is me surrendering also to feminine energy, my feminine energy, right? And just allowing myself to receive, learning how to receive, and to be taken care of by the universe, right? And that sound like a lot of people they talk about it, but until you actually do it, it's so scary. It was the scariest thing ever. Like, what you mean? What you mean, right? And looking back, and even in that, I am very, 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 very grateful in the spiritual things that I was doing. Because you'd be like, dang, what was you doing the whole time? What was you doing? Right? And the spiritual work that I was doing is like, in the habits that I developed is what has allowed me to make six figures and continue and beyond, right? And what kind of sparked me to, like, I went back and forth on if I was going to talk about this, because nobody knows that that's what I made. I just found out. Literally, I just did the math. Like, literally the week before last, I just did the math, and I'm like, well, damn. At the end, like, I added up, I calculated. I'm like, well, damn. Okay, so my mama don't even know. Y'all might know before my mama know. Okay, so it's just interesting. But last night I was watching a portion of a podcast where, they love to talk about six figures this, six figures that, and how women need to pretty much lower their standards. And this, I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but I'll have other podcasts and videos where I talk about little stuff like that. But they were talking about how this woman felt like, she needed somebody, a man, in order for her to fully submit, blah, 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 with a man, to a man or whatever, he needs to be able to make six figures or more. And, everybody, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And the lady was like, who asked her that, she was like, well, do you understand that less than 10% of men make six figures in a year? And I was just like, well, damn. Because I had just figured out, I had just did the math. I'm like, well, goddamn, okay. And then for her to say that, I'm like, you know what? This actually is a really good, this is a pretty big accomplishment. Okay, this is actually a pretty big accomplishment. And I don't celebrate myself enough. And, I just kind of want to, for one, celebrate myself, but also break this down for the people, but also for myself. Because it has been crazy. This has been a crazy journey. And I've been knowing this whole time that I wanted to, do a podcast or talk about it. But I've been kind of hesitant because I'm like, I don't want to jinx myself or blah blah blah, whatever. But forget it. I've been quiet the whole year, so it ain't jinxed. It already happened. 2022 is over, and I did it. So y'all can't reverse me. And then that's the other part too. Like in 2020, 2021, I'm talking full out spiritual warfare. Full out spiritual warfare, and of course even before, right? And I could already feel it. I already knew that it was happening, it was coming. And I'm talking full out spiritual warfare. So let's get into it, because y'all probably like, girl, come on with the story. Damn, we 10 minutes in. So to give some context as to how I got there, right? How I got to that place. So before that, I was doing pretty good, right? I had my own recording studio that I had worked really hard for a long time. I'm talking, 5-6 years, grassroots, grinding. I started off like, I started in Starbucks. I started my first, the first concept, because I had no place to do it. And I just wanted to start teaching people and start my concept, because I had the concept for a long time. I had done business plan competitions about it. And I wanted to have a recording studio where I could also teach people how to do it, and provide a space where people could do it themselves. They can learn and also record, collaborate, and just, how women do, build each other up together, right? And a big motivation for creating the studio that I wanted to create in the way that I wanted to create it was that I was tired of gatekeepers. I was tired of the false gatekeepers, of the people that, they want to hide the information. They want to, like when it comes to recording, when I started on this path, I realized that, there were women that would come to me, and this one woman in particular, she told me how she was trying to get her music recorded, and the engineer was trying to get at her, and she's like, "Nah, I just want my music recorded. Like, that's it. I paid you the money to record my music. That's what I would like you to do." And he told her, she's like, "I don't have to mix your music, right?" And she's like, "Really? Right?" And so I was just like, I'm outdone. And even for myself, it was just like people, they would hide information. They trying to scheme and scam. It was like recording music and getting things done musically as a female artist. It was just like going to the mechanic. Like, it was a mess. So it was just like, I have to get the knowledge for myself. I have to learn how to do it myself. That's the reason behind me learning how to record just for myself in general, and also how to produce, how to write the songs, everything, the camera, everything. So I was like, I would love to have a studio where people can learn, because we have the technology now to where it's possible, right, to do it all yourself. And so that was a concept, and I struggled for a long time to put that concept together the way I was trying to do it. And the first rendition of that was just my laptop, my headphones, a little keyboard, and teaching people at Starbucks. Like, that's where I started. And then I got to where I had like I started working in the library. Then I went to the library because it was free, and you had this room where it was more quiet, right? And so I started doing that. And then I also did like, it was called the songwriting tutor, to where I would teach kids literacy through songwriting. Cause I'm like, okay, maybe I need to find a niche where people actually gonna pay for it, because, these artists ain't got no damn money. Okay. And they don't really understand what I'm trying to do yet. Right. And so I'm like, okay, well, everybody knows that literacy is an issue for the most part. Everybody knows kids need to learn how to read. So I can do literacy through songwriting, right? And so I ended up doing that in at the Shape Center, which was awesome. It was crazy. Like, I had these kids reading it was a summer. I was teaching a summer class, right? And pretty much what I would do, I had a hip hop instrumental, and I would we came up with a song to go with the instrumental, but the catch is you have to define all the words, and we have to build it ourselves. We're creating the song, and then you have to be able to, of course, read the song, right? And we would do different exercises where I'd have them running to the dictionary to find information, because that's what I got better at reading when I was a kid, when I first started rapping, because I was like, well, how am I going to learn how to use these words in my raps, right? When I was 10 years old, if I don't know what they mean. So when I would hear, raps on the radio, whatever, I would write down the lyrics to my favorite songs so I could study them. And if I found a word that I didn't understand, I would go and look it up in the dictionary. And I still do that all the time. Even if I understand the word, but if I want to learn the other definition so I could use it in a punchline or something, I know all the different ways to use the words, right? I'm like, and that helped me to learn how to read better and faster. So that's how I was teaching the kids, and they loved it. The other teachers was walking past the room. They're like, what y'all in here doing? And they even had kids where I'm talking struggle. I was scared for them. I didn't show them I was scared, but I was scared for their literacy. I'm like, ugh. And the teachers who had taught them before, they was coming past like, is that little Johnny? How he reading like that? I say, hey, my techniques work, all right? And so I had done that for a year, and I was telling the owner of the Shape Center, I'm trying to remember his name. I'm sorry, you know who you are. I appreciate you, man. The Shape Center is gonna come to me. If I could just have 4 walls, I'ma deck it out. I'ma make it something. I'ma make it great. Okay, so I can really start my business, have a location, whatever. I'll pay you rent for it, whatever. And he was like, I have this storage closet in the other location, and I was like, okay, cool. I mean, hey, I said 4 walls. Give me 4 walls. Let's go. He cleared out the storage closet, and it was like, I would say it's like the size of this right here. You can't really tell how big this is, but it's not that big, but it's not that small. But it was a storage closet. But guess what? I decked out that storage closet. You hear me? I painted the walls. You hear me? I put album covers on the ceiling. Okay, I decked it out. I brought my little studio set up there, and that was the first rendition of my studio, which originally was called the Computer Music Room, which was a terrible name, but I could not figure out for the life of me what I wanted to call it. So, but yeah, so I just started grassroots. I'm talking, just grinding. And for a large part of that time, I was broke as a joke. And because I had dedicated, I felt like I had to do this entrepreneur grind thing where, I'm just broke the whole time, and I'm just like 100% focused on building this business, and that's it, right? And so I struggled for years and years and years, and for the most of the part, I worked to pay the rent at the places. So then when I moved from there, then I actually finally got to an actual real studio from that was next door to my mentor, who had previously interned. So I would go over there, I would intern. I did that for like maybe 5 or 6 months, And when the air conditioner went out on the daggone in that area, I don't know if it was the whole place. I think it was just in the storage closet. I'm like, the air conditioner went out. It was summer. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. So I started manifesting. This whole time I'm manifesting different things, whatever. But I'm trying to give you the faster route to get to where to update. So I hit up my mentor. I'm like, hey, could we have lunch or whatever? Talk to him. He's like, I have this studio next door. The guy who's rented it out, they just left. I'm like, oh, that's my studio, right? And so at first it was just a room, and same thing. I'm like, shoot, I'll take it. The room was already, padded. It was everything. It was just it, right? All I needed was that room. I'm gonna make it something, right? Put furniture in there, painted it, decked it out, whatever. And I started to manifest the entire studio in the most harmonious way. Because when I got there, somebody else was, they had the rest of the space, right? I just had that one room in the studio space, whatever. So I started manifesting that I would have the entire space in the most harmonious way, right? That's when you manifest, you don't want to manifest destruction. You don't want to manifest negativity for somebody else. You don't want to be hating on somebody else's stuff, right? That's how you manifest some negative things to you, right? And the way that would look would be for, the other person who's there. They may say, you know what? I don't even need this space. I need, I would like to upgrade. I would like to do this, right? And so that's actually what ended up happening at the end of the year. The guy who was a part of who pretty much rented out the rest of it, he moved on. He's like, I really don't even need all this space. And, it would be easier for me to just do a little WeWork thing or whatever, because it's not even music related what I'm doing, but this is a music studio, right? Manifest in a harmonious way. And so then I had the whole thing, and I was just like, oh, my life is complete. This is it. I'm here. I made it. and like, it was amazing. It's beautiful. Till this day, it's I love that studio. And people would come and we'd collaborate. I had what is called creative hubs, where I think it was like once or twice a week. I'd have, artists come, and they'll come for free, and we would create music together from scratch. And by the end of the night, we would have a song done. And it was awesome. It was a very cool experience. And I also was teaching music production, songwriting, home recording. I was teaching piano lessons for kids and stuff like that, and also doing recording sessions. And then, we started making music videos for the songs that we would create in the creative hub. And then I also started doing podcasts there. It was just fire, right? It was just some fires, some underground fires. Okay, but I was too cheap. I was way too cheap. I was super duper cheap. A lot of stuff was free, but I also started attracting haters. And then also before, like in my early stages, before I had even, taken the first step, I was doing business plan competitions, stuff like that. Went to U of H for entrepreneurship, and also HCC, took class in HCC for entrepreneurship. And one of my teachers told me about this guy who owned a studio and wanted me to tell him my idea, to possibly work with him to make it happen. And what actually ended up happening is he was just like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea and great concept, whatever. And I showed him, the concept. And basically, no, the difference is like 5 years between that time and now. What I didn't realize what he was doing was he would be checking up on me. He'd be checking up on my progress with this innovative business that I was developing. That he was like, oh yeah, just started grassroots or whatever. He could have helped me at that point, right? But oh no, just started grassroots, blah blah blah. And he would be checking in, right? And wanting to have meetings every few years, and I had already starting to feel like, this is snake activity. And so then there is 2 different people that came into my studio, and I'm working with them, and I'm like, you know what? I've been blessed with this space, and I like what they're doing. They're talented, whatever the case may be. They can use my space. I'm not going to charge them. Maybe we could do some kind of barter situation and, work together, right? And so that's what I try to do with the first person. And as long as we're in my space, it was cool, good vibe, blah, blah, blah. But then I noticed little things. Like, I would notice how, because he had a bigger following. He had a lot of people that would go to his events and all this other stuff. And I noticed when he posted himself in my studio, like videos and stuff like that, why he tagging my neighbor, my mentor's recording studio? Why he not tagging my recording studio? That's weird. I mean, it's not like he don't know what it's called. There's there's logos everywhere. It's gonna pop up before it pop. Why are you tagging the location next door? That's weird. Right? And then the way it was supposed to work, okay, you get to use my space for free, and then, on the other hand, you can market people to come to the studio, right? Or I can, go to your events and be able to market, right? So reciprocate, right? But when I would go into his spaces, it would be a totally different energy. Now, when we're in my space, we're cool, blah, blah. But when I'm in his space, it's this weird energy. It's like super weird. Like I'm his worst enemy or something. Like it, like you could feel the it's like you can cut the tension with a knife. I'm just like, is this the same person? Right? And then whenever I would, like I had a table set up, whatever, whenever I would break down to people what I was doing in the studio, especially artists, they would not even just artists, anybody I would tell, they would light up like a Christmas tree. And then it was like, when I look at him, he's just dark. I'm just like, what is going on? Right? And so it was just this weird, it's just really weird. And then I started to find out, now I'm offering a discount for his people, the people that work with him. If they want to come and learn, music production, songwriting, home recording, blah, 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 I'm offering them a discount, right? To come and come in the studio and record and learn how to do it, because a lot of artists don't know how to do it. And it took me a really long time to learn. So I'm finding out he want to have all these stipulations and rules that these people had to go through in order to pay for a discounted membership with me. And I'm like, why are you making it so hard for people to, I'm discounting it for your people, right? Like I'm already discounting it. Why are you taking them through all these hoops to get over here, to even get in contact with me at all? What's happening? Right? And so, I started, catching on to that. And, there was just this last straw where they had this big event, and, I'm supposed to have a table because I've been letting you use my space for free for months now. And I haven't even really asked you to do anything, but you're supposed to be marketing the business and you're really blocking, right? And so when I get there, I see this man going out of his way to make sure that the table that I get is all the way in the back. And I'm looking around like, when this is all said and done, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to have a conversation, because this not going to work. Okay. This is not going to work. Okay. And so, and I prayed about it. I was like, Lord, I feel this, am I tripping? Like, what? And then, and like, give me a sign if you feel like, let me know what you feel like I should do, whatever. This is part of my spiritual system, right? And I'm meditating by this bayou that I meditate all the time. That was close to my studio. And I open my eyes and I see a black snake slithering, and a big black snake, probably a water moccasin or something, slithering across my path. And why was I not freaked out? I'm just looking at the snake. I don't never see snakes. I ain't seen a snake since I was like 12 years old. It was in the house, and I was losing my mind running from that snake. And I see this snake, and it was just like an omen, right? It was just like, note taken. I got my stuff up. I left, and I said, let me text this man. Let's call a meeting. And so I had the meeting, and I was just straight up, real and raw. Like, I broke down the different situations, what I've been observing. And of course, the whole time he's avoiding and pretending like he don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. And I'm like, all right, okay, well, whatever the case may be, I think that this, we need to cut ties. It's not working for me. I'm literally not benefiting from this at all, right? So, it'd be best if we, and he starts to get mad. He starts to get angry. His real self start coming out again, right? And he said something talking about, oh, well, you must just not be used to men. Like you just not used to working with men. I'm like, do you realize my whole clientele are nothing but men? They're all men. So what are you saying? They're not men, or they're not real men or something? Well, you just. I'm like, all right, out the door. Bye bye. Right? And he said something about, well, people that cross me don't last long. I'm like, okay, whatever. And it's just this negative, dark energy. And this happened again. Then somebody else. It's not long after that one, right? It was not long after that. Somebody else, came in my studio, very similar, and it's like it's crazy, very similar, but a different shade of it, right? Doing a lot of the same stuff. And this man talking about he want my to see my business plan. I'm like, what? And they be coming all nice and oh yeah, I believe in what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Let's work together. The same thing. And I realized, he up there trying to block. Now I'm helping him. I'm not charging him nothing. That's crazy. And you're trying to block me, right? And this so-called, I know these people putting spells on my business and on me, right? It's just wild to me too, because it's like I could see you having this energy for somebody that is, that's trying to tear you apart, tear you down. I'm trying to work with you. I'm not even charging you nothing, right? These same people will go, and of course, these people are of my shade, my complexion, pro-black, Black Lives Matter, brother, sister, white devil, people. You know that, you know that's who I was working with. And it's so crazy, right? That's the ones that was snaking, casting spells. This man, when I cut this one off, after I figured out what he was doing, just the energy, the vibe, the negativity, the snakishness, trying to steal, kill, and destroy, he went as far as to come to my studio when I wasn't there, take a picture, all right, in front of my studio. This is how sick and sad people are. This is what's crazy. And Photoshop the door as if it's the gateway, and put some kind of caption like it's the gateway to slavery or something. Like I'm slaving artists, while meanwhile, motherfucker ain't even paying for shit. Most of the artists that came through my studio never paid for a goddamn thing. That's what's so crazy. I'm over here working my ass off I mean, I was working at Starbucks while I owned the whole studio. I was working at little jobs here so I can pay the rent, so I can let people come in my studio for free. I'm working so you can come in this bitch for free. And y'all got the What? What? Really? So, yeah. And, but also, you know, in that time, like, before that too, because I didn't even realize how I was looking, how I was coming, right? At that time, I had um three properties on Airbnb, right? All making me money, cash flow. I wasn't even having to hustle to do it. And I was living really in between my apartment that I had on Airbnb, and I had 2 other apartments on Airbnb, so I had 3 locations. And I was living at my studio too, because my studio had a shower, everything. I mean, so I was bouncing back and forth between 4 different spots, right? And in my mind, my perspective, it wasn't the great. At first, it sounded cool. Like, damn, I got 3 properties on Airbnb that making me cash flow, and I have my recording studio, so I can live at any of them, whatever. And it was paying for my stuff. But I wasn't very happy. I really wasn't happy, to be completely honest. It was just like I realized it's not the kind of life that I wanted to live. But to the outside world, I'm looking like I'm straight balling. Bitch got 3 properties. I got a recording studio. I ain't got to work no job. I'm just chilling. I'm sitting up here with artists. We making music. I had no idea how I was looking. I had no idea how I was looking to these people. So I'm like, damn, now that I think about it, no wonder y'all was hating. I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not only am I black, not only am I a woman, but I'm a goddamn lesbian. Not only am I a lesbian, I'm a goddamn stud masculine lesbian. I'm not supposed to be able to have a job. I'm not supposed to be able to get a job, bitch. I got 3. I'm not supposed to be able to get a job. I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even supposed to be on earth. I'm supposed to be in hell somewhere. I'm supposed to be in hell somewhere. I'm not supposed to be able to have a job. I'm supposed to be desperate on drugs. I'm supposed to be busted and disgusted. I'm over here with 3 properties on Airbnb making me cash flow. Got a whole recording studio. I never even seen a black man own a recording studio. Okay, and so I'm talking about in my area, whatever, that owns a studio. I'm not talking about is an engineer in the studio. I'm talking about owns the studio. So people will come in the door of my studio and be walking around, whatever, who don't know me, looking for whatever white man owns the studio. Like, oh yeah, it's like you see me sweeping, they think I'm just working there, right? And so I didn't even realize how I was looking to people because I was just in my own little world. And in the little world that I was in, I wasn't even having that great a time, right? I was just like, I'm still trying to search and find my purpose and like figure out, because I'm like, I thought that when I got this studio, my life would be amazing, right? I thought that, and I'm still going through like, heartbreak and relationship and I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be rich. I'm supposed to feel rich. I'm supposed to, I was able to travel. I was doing whatever. But I still it was just like, something's missing. I don't know what it is, right? And so, and then I'm dealing with spiritual attacks. I'm dealing with spiritual attacks from snakes. I'm dealing with spiritual attacks from people who, like an unrequited love situation from people who wanting to be with me and I'm not wanting to be with them, and so they're mad. Okay. And I'm just like, well, y'all leave me the fuck alone. Leave me alone, right? Leave me alone. I'm just trying to do me. Okay? And I'm used to being quiet. I'm used to being, in my own space, like just living my own world in my own little bubble. And, I'm out in the world and I'm just like, what the? Leave me alone. Okay? So Like, even, and the other thing too is like, I thought that getting the recording studio and all this other stuff was actually my dream, but I think it was just looking back at it, I think it was like a way for me to get close enough to my dream to where I still feel like I'm doing it, but I'm not. I'm still too afraid to, really do what my dream really, really is, or it's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. Right. And, a big part of it is being the artist, right? Not just teaching other artists, but being a artist. And, I'm just like, I work so hard and I'm trying to teach other people how to do what I'm doing, and people not even having the same, fire to want to learn that I had, the same kind of energy, the same kind of grind, the same time kind of perfectionism and love for the craft and the art or whatever that I had. And I'm trying to teach y'all, y'all not even wanting to give it the energy. Y'all not even wanting to pay for it, right? I would have paid. I couldn't pay for it because it didn't exist. So I'm trying to create something that don't exist, right? And, I started to realize, it's like, this is a people pleasing thing that I'm doing. I'm doing this to please people. I'm not doing this because, it's my dream. I'm doing this because I was bred to be an entrepreneur, and it's in my blood. I know I'm going to own a business at some point, but I feel like I was born to be an artist. Like, this have my own, I'm doing a podcast. I'm supposed to be doing my own podcast, right? I'm supposed to be making my own music. I'm supposed to be making my own beats and making my own shit, right? And putting good energy into that, right? As a creator, as an artist, and then also, be able to give back as well. But I need to put myself first, right? And I started to feel that tug more and more and more, right? And to speak my voice, because I hadn't even been recording videos at all at that time, right? I was just, pouring into other people, and then for it to backfire, turn around, and I was just like, what am, right? And so I already had started to feel like maybe this is not even my dream. Like, maybe I don't even want to do this anymore. But it had been so far into it that I'm just like, I can't give up now. I didn't work on this shit 5 years, right? And then 2020 hits. This is y'all hearing the whole story. This is going to be like an hour and a half. I don't even know if we're going to get to the 6-figure part, but y'all need to know the backstory. So, and it'll be a part of a series, I guess. And so 2020 happens, and right before the pandemic, I find out that the snakes, or one of the snakes that have been slithering through my studio, right, was sponsored by the guy who I said, my mentor told me to go talk to him at the studio, who had been checking up on me every few years to see my progress, so then he could appropriate it and copy it, right, and make do my studio before I could really do the studio, right? And he gets funded. Of course, he's white. He gets funded for my studio concept. Now, I couldn't get funded. Now, people want to talk about, they got all this funding for black women. It's so easy. I've heard white guys, even before the whole Goldman Sachs situation, talking about, it should be real easy for you to get a loan because they have all this stuff for minorities. At the end of the day, who gonna sign the check? Who gonna sign the application? It's still extremely, extremely, extremely hard to get this funding that they say, it's so easy for us to get. It's very hard. So, I was never able to get funding. I would be doing business plan competitions. I got second place. Everybody in the whole place thought I was gonna win it, but it didn't happen. So just all kind of ways for me not to get the funding, which I am grateful for, because I learned a lot. I built a lot of character, and also I learned just a lot about business by having to do it grassroots. But anyway, this man gets to just get funded, and guess who is he sponsors, right? Who he's sponsoring, whose events he sponsors? The Slytherin BLM Black Lives Matter snake. The Slytherin Black Lives Matter snake. Okay. Now the white liberal is sponsoring him, and they working together. Now this is the white devil. I can't stand the white devil looking at those types. Right? They be the main ones getting funded and getting sponsored and all this other stuff by the white liberals. Okay, who will still kill and destroy another black business. Okay, and then the other thing that has really turned me off, to be completely honest, with trying to do pro-black stuff or whatever the case may be, is of course that, but it's so easy for people to justify in their mind destroying a business like mine and like any kind of project that I do or whatever, if I'm trying to do something for the community or whatever the case may be, right, and have ownership of it. It's so easy for them to justify because I'm gay, right? Well, if you're gay, if you're gay and black, you don't really count, right? Oh, you're an enemy of you're a enemy of the people, right? You're not really for us. Da, da, da. They're all for us. Like even with Black Lives Matter, it started off with a lesbian, whatever, right? And then they sold out to white liberals, like they all do. But while it was starting, nobody had a problem that it was lesbians that started it. Nobody had a problem. Oh, as long as they fighting for us and doing for us and rubbing our feet and kissing our ass all day, then it's cool. But the second y'all have it, it's because they lesbians, now they lesbians. Fuck it. That's how I feel. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. That now is just I'm like the people pleasing. Right. And that's what, 2020 and 2021, that's what it became to me. It was the fuck it years. For real. I'm going to tell you, it's the fuck it years. Fuck it. Fuck it years. When I it's real shit though. When all that happened, I had to shut down, I literally had to shut down my studio because of course they wasn't letting people, operate their businesses. Literally, lock the door. The doors was locked on my. So how am I gonna pay rent? Why would I pay rent if I can't even have customers coming in the studio, right? So then okay, it shut down, right? But at the same time, these white people just got funded for my business concept. Right, and appropriating my business concept. Of course, they got nothing but people like me as customers taking their money all day long, right? And but the owners are white, right? So, but hey, whatever. But they're funded, so it's okay. They can have, they can sit there for a year, 2 years, and not make money. That's how you get the fund. You get the funding just in case you can't pay for a year or two. Right? I didn't have that, right? So I'm having to close my business. I'm having to figure out life, right? And really dig deep, spiritually really dig deep with a lot of things. And I realized, and my guides had already been guiding me to, it's you. I mean, we gave you this name, AnokhiTheOne. You are the one of your life, and if it's not making you happy, it doesn't matter who it's making happy. It's your shit. This is your shit. Because at the end of the day, you trying to struggle and carry along this thing to make these other people happy, when it may or may not be time for that right now, when it's really time for you to take care of you first. You need to be taking care of you now, right? And I struggled. And I was broken. I was heartbroken in multiple different ways. I was heartbroken because of my business, but also heartbroken because I allowed myself to people please for so many years, at the hope, right, to receive love or some kind of reciprocation or whatever. And there's a lot of people who start businesses because really they're seeking love, right? They're trying to solve problems for other people, but really they want love, right? They want somebody to love them, appreciate them, and all this other stuff, right? And I realized that's ultimately what I was doing. And what I wanted to be doing is what I love, right? I want to be doing what I love. I want to be speaking my truth. I want to be, in my authentic self. And it's taken years and years of healing. I'm still not there. None of us, the whole journey of life is to learn lessons and to live and to grow. So, but yeah, you want to talk about a dark night of the soul? A bitch had dark years. Two of them. But it was crazy because this has to be a whole series, because there is so much that I learned in those years, and I've grown so much in those years when it comes to peace, even financial peace, right? I should have lost everything. How? I should have lost every single thing. How did I not lose every single thing, right? Really, the only thing I lost was the studio, which seemed really huge. I lost the studio. I also lost the person that I felt like was my the love of my life. I thought we were gonna be together forever. So I was heartbroken on top of heartbroken. And what I learned in that dark period, in that aloneness, was to care about myself enough to make decisions for me, not to make decisions for the community, the people, the this, the that, but to make decisions for me, to make dreams around me, like what I want to do, right? Even if I'm creating a business or whatever the case may be, it's a business around what I truly want to do and what I want to bring to the community, not so much to get love from people, to get appreciation from people, whatever, to serve them, but also have it in a way where I can be served too. I can be reciprocated. I'm here getting shit for free. At that point, you just in business for love. You're in the business for the love of the love. Fuck that. Fuck it. God damn it. I got a lot of love, but goddamn. Shit. When you don't allow yourself to receive, right? When you don't allow yourself to receive, the universe will take from you. When you don't allow yourself to receive, the universe will take things from you, right? If you're giving, you're going to lose at the end of the day, because there is a law of giving and receiving. And when you don't allow yourself to receive, or when you don't allow others to give to you, they become resentful, right? They become resentful, and you become resentful too. Right? You become resentful, like, man, they don't even appreciate nothing I'm doing. I'm giving them something free and I'm doing this. Well, that's your choice. You chose to not charge higher. You chose to not market to people who can pay more. You chose to say, I'm doing it for the culture. I'm doing it for my people. Your people gonna show you who your people are. They show me. They showed me. Okay. And so now it's like my people are the people who are vibrating on my frequency. The people who are, ready to give and receive, reciprocate, who that are my people. I don't give a goddamn whatever you are. I don't care what you are. If you're a damn whatever. If you're a they, them, elephant, cat, whatever, if you on my frequency, we together. We the same. I don't give a damn no more. So, but yeah, and that's a huge thing that it taught me. But also how to, and with that, it was like the universe, it's like God forced me to be in a situation where I cannot just, well, I could, but it was a mutual, right? And this is something that a lot of people would understand. That's why I didn't want to speak on it while I was going through it, because I didn't even fully it's something you don't really, sometimes you don't understand stuff until you looking back, right? But it was a mutual, me surrendering, right? Because I could have held on. I could have tried to force it. I could have tried to, force something to happen. In 2 years, think about it. Most people, and people judging me. They're like, how the hell? And of course, not everybody gonna know my situation. I don't speak on. I wasn't speaking on it when they got 6 figures. When I had the 6K, I wasn't really speaking on it. People can't tell where I'm at, what I'm doing, right? But a lot of people don't understand. They're not gonna understand your spiritual journey, especially when it comes to finances. Looking at it from the surface, and even me, I was like, what is happening? Right? I haven't been that broke since I was a teenager. I've been working since I was 15. I was making that working as a lifeguard. Okay. So I'm just like, Lord, what you trying to do? Right? And so it was just and it was like, I'm talking deep, and I still have a very deep relationship spiritually, very, very deep. But in those years, I really developed character traits and a true understanding of what it means to have faith financially. Okay, to have faith financially, to have faith that your needs will be taken care of at all times. Okay, I'm talking, how can your needs be taken care of in America at 6K a year? Some of y'all still can't figure it out. I can't figure it out either. But guess what? I mean, I'm talking, I didn't lose I still was in my apartment. The people talking about, oh yeah, they just squatted in their apartment for years. That was me. That was me, bitch. I was in that bitch 2 years. 2 years. And the whole time, like, I'm just like, Lord, I didn't even know how it was going to work out. I thought I was about to be asked out. I thought I was about to be homeless. Every time I thought I was going to, I just didn't know. The lights would be going on and off, not to know where I'm going to get the money for the lights, where I'm going to get money for food, right? And I'm like, I could just go over here and do something. But at the whole time, I felt guided to just stand, to be still. And I'm like, look here, what? Be still, right? And heal and learn to listen. A lot of people want to pray. They want to talk to God. I'm talking to God. I'm going to talk to God. Oh, well, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for this. But they don't know how to listen to the guidance, take heed to the guidance. And in each day, I'm talking every day I would wake up, I'm not knowing how I'm going to be able to eat. I'm not knowing how I'm going to make sure the lights don't get cut off this time. I'm not knowing if they're going to come knocking on my door talking about time to go, got to get all your shit out right now. I'm not knowing. These are things I didn't know. And for me to be talking about it now, I couldn't have talked about it then, because y'all would be judging me. Y'all probably judging me now. Y'all judge me. But I don't give a damn now, because I'm making 6 figures in this bitch. But anyway, I knew it was happening. I wrote about it. But, so, but, no, like, literally. And it was very hard. I didn't talk to people, period. I didn't talk to them because nobody could understand that. And, God would guide me every time. There'd be times where, there's like what is it? Houston Food Bank. I'm riding my bike. I mean, my car broke down too. That's the other thing. The car broke down. That's a thing that really made it really hard, right? And my bike was transportation about a year and a half. That's crazy. That's wild. And so, but at the same time, like, I made more content those 2 years than I've ever made. And you would never know. And it's not like I was lying. It was like, oh yeah, I'm rich. I've never been that person. But in everything I'm saying, I'm real. I'm doing my genealogy. I would have never had that kind of time. I was studying. I was doing I was just whatever the Lord wanted me to do. And all of that really just prepared me to really take off financially, but also like spiritually, relationally, just in different areas of my life. And understanding like when I talked about how I had my 3 properties, I had my dream studio and all this, and I still wasn't happy. It wasn't because I wasn't in a place that where I could be happy, right? It wasn't because I wasn't having fun or whatever the case may be. I wasn't happy because happiness is fleeting, right? Happiness is fleeting. And what I learned in those 2 years, and that I have to remember, these lessons. This is another reason why I'm making this video, to remember these lessons, because there was these times that I'd be broke as hell. I'm talking, I would figure out some kind of way to turn my lights back on. And when I tell you I was the happiest motherfucker on earth, I was so goddamn happy. I would be, and I really was choosing. And when I talk about that, like Pursuit of Happiness, that movie, I was watching that a lot. I had watched that a lot before, but that was my movie. Think about that was my movie at that time. That was my movie, right? And it really was like the pursuit of happiness and choosing to see the light even in the dark. Literally, the dark bitch was in the dark sometimes. Sometimes I would go, I'm talking, it would be like days and days and days. And it's not like, I couldn't ask somebody for help, whatever, but I really felt like God was calling me to just allow myself to be taken care of by my angels, my spirit guides, my guidance, and, revel in the beauty of being taken care of by the universe. Okay. And so, but no, I would wake up in the morning and I started doing my gratitude every day. I'm still doing it. I'm on day like 180 something, but I started in that time when I started doing the gratitude, because at first I was miserable. I was just like, this sucks. This is the worst thing. I don't know what, and it was this book, The Magic. And really it's all about gratitude. And I started doing my gratitudes where I would fill up a page front and back of all the things that I'm grateful for. And at first, of course, it was really hard when I'm, but I would find little things to be grateful for every single day. And, I made it a habit. And the more I would be grateful for the things, and I'm like, well, damn, shit, the lights out. I don't know what, whatever, but I'm still in this bitch. How am I still here? How am I still in this apartment? What's happening? Thank you for allowing me to have shelter, being in the damn park, because I could be out in the streets. Thank you that I am mentally stable, because a lot of people went through the pandemic, they didn't come out mentally right. Thank you that I am in good health, whatever. Thank you for the food I'm about to receive. I don't know where it's going to come from, but thank you for it. I started being thankful for stuff in advance, right? And the more I would do that, the happier I would be, the better, my experience would be. I would be riding around on my little bike, jolly and happy as hell. Motherfucker probably thought I was crazy. And it does look crazy. When you actually have real joy in dark time, that look, you can't even look at some homeless people. Y'all think crazy as hell. Some of them got some deep knowledge, some character traits that they developed from being homeless or whatever the case may be, but that you would do good to acquire. I remember when, I was working at this coffee shop downtown while I had my studio, because I told you I was hustling to pay for the studio. People thinking I'm balling. Just making all this money. I was, okay. I would see homeless people in this, I'm talking huge skyscraper. I'm looking around these huge skyscrapers, and you see these homeless people. And I thought about, while I was, working at the coffee shop, because it would be, really, I'm sure 6-figure earners or more, or maybe not, I don't know. But business people would come to the coffee shop all the time. And I got the idea to ask them, what they think about stress. And I just started interviewing people. And maybe I may do like street interviews at some point or whatever, because I think I have, pretty good questions that I like to ask people. But I started asking them, like, what do you think about stress in America? And there would be people from all over, in different countries, but also in America. And, they started telling me stuff. And as I'm, doing these interviews, just a random, just doing it just because I was bored. And then I walk outside and I'm looking at these homeless people, and I thought about how some of these homeless people out here, they were once working in these towers. These are just like, you gotta think about, these are human beings. These are not like, it's weird how people think about homeless people as if they're like some kind of aliens who just dropped from outer space and are homeless, and they're just these, despicable beings that just can't get their lives together. Some of these people were working in these they were walking to work in their suits and ties, and they had their Lexuses and all this other stuff, and something happened. Somebody may have lost their job, and because they had so much weight, mental weight, spiritual weight, psychological weight into this job. It was so a part of their identity that when they lost it, they just cracked. They completely cracked. They just disappeared. Whoever that person was, they disappeared in this whole, they're somebody else. They cracked out. They just out of their mind, right? Some people, they were, work hard, they taking care of their family, and maybe their wife got in a car accident and died. And it just cracked out. It's just like over, they just couldn't deal with it. And, they in the streets, right? And so many different things, right? And so, with me going through that dark period of brokenness and brokenness, right? A broke phase, whatever. I really acquired some deep spiritual wealth, like some spiritual. My mom always just talk about, people be like, "Are y'all rich?" Because we had a nice house, and mom always had, she riding in the Lexus. My daddy had Benz, and so people were like, "Are y'all rich? Are y'all rich?" And I'll be like, when I was a kid, I'm like, "Mom, are we rich?" And she's like, "Well, y'all we're rich in the spirit." And I'm like, okay, but that time period, I got real rich in the spirit, because I wasn't rich no other way. I sure wasn't feeling rich no any other kind of way. But that is what prepared me to when God said, "Go." I said, "Release my inner Aries," and I'm talking, right? And what the goal was really, it was letting go of the need to please, and really family pleasing. It went down, like it got deep to the point, and I'm still just recently dealing with it. I've just realized I'm still dealing with it. The people pleasing within family, okay, and not feeling like it's being reciprocated. And so I felt guided to just cut it off completely, and work. And so in whatever way I can, whatever possible, it doesn't matter. Because another thing that started to help hold me back was this idea of entrepreneurship. I'm a business owner. I have been a successful business owner, right? I own Airbnbs and blah, blah, blah. And I've never been like a, whatever type of person, whatever, but I still had kind of a mindset of like, I'm not trying to work for nobody. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what I gotta, anybody tell me what I gotta do, where I gotta go, right? And you have a whole generation like that now. And even at the time when I had like my Airbnbs, and when I started to feel lost, I'm like, well, shit, I'm supposed to be happy as hell. What's going on now? I don't even have to work. I started getting bored, right? And that's actually the time where I was guided to the name AnokhiTheOne. And so, because I had manifested my reality up to that point, but I realized, I'm like, but who am I? when I got to where I wanted to be, I didn't have to work. Everything was paid. I got my properties. I could travel. At that point, like, who am I now? What am I? Who am I? So, I was reading this book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and I just read the last chapter, to prepare for this, because that last chapter is what this all wraps into. And the last chapter is called The Luckiest Man in Babylon, right? And it talks about how this elder was talking to one of his friend's grandson, right? And his friend's grandson, and he was a rich man, and he knew his grandfather, who was a rich man as well respected, blah blah blah, right? But he didn't pass anything down to his grandson, right? He didn't pass any money or anything like that. So his grandson was resentful. He was mad. And he was mad because he didn't want to have to work. Why he got to work? He is the grandson of blah 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 blah, right? And this elder, he came to the elder because he knew that they were good friends. And he wanted to figure out what was his secret. What was the secret to him being, so wealthy and, living, a successful life. And so what he pretty much broke down to the boy is that, for one, both of them started off as slaves. It's deep. They both started off as slaves. And really, it could be seen as workers, hard working people. And, but no, they literally were slaves in bondage, shackles on their necks. Okay, slaves. And he said to the boy that, when he first came into slavery, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story because maybe y'all need to go read it yourself. When he first came into slavery, he wanted to know from, like, how can he gain his freedom? How is he ever going to gain his freedom? And, one person's like, man, you need to, you just pretend like you working hard, but don't. Like, pretend, like, fake it till you make it, so you don't break your back and die, right? And then there's another one who's like, what you need to do is to find a good master, and this is gonna be triggering because it was triggering for me at first. Find a good master, like, market yourself to a good master, right? And do really good work. Do really, really good work. And pretty much what that translated to is find a good person to work with and work for, and work really hard and make work your best friend, because it is your best friend, right? Everything that you want in life, you have to work, right? You have to work hard to get it. And, with all the manifestation and different things like that, cool. But at the end of the day, you still got to work. Okay, you still have to put the action. It's law of attraction, action. Okay, and so that's what he did. He worked really hard. He put his money to the side, because most of the book is about, like, saving and investing and stuff like that. But the last chapter, The Luckiest Man in Babylon, the ending thing is what it ultimately boils down to, is until you can get to whatever point you want to get to, you need to find good work to do and do good work. Like, work hard. And that will be your best friend, because it'll get you to all the things that you want. And when I thought about, when I got, my Airbnbs, when I got my studio, it all boiled down to working hard. I had to work hard outside of, the studio, but also inside the studio. And that's what my parents taught me. They were hard workers. My grandfather, I related a lot to it because my grandfather was a really hard worker. He owned his own business, but he worked really hard in that business. I didn't used to see my grandpa growing up, because he used to be gone to work before the sun came up. And he owned the business, and he was prepared to work. He was 80-some years old still working, right? Because he enjoyed working, right? And when I was in a position where I didn't have to work, I was bored. Right? I was bored. I was like, this is weak. So when, I got the message to go, transitioning back to getting to the six figures, when I got the the guidance to let go of the people pleasing and to go towards what I want. So let go of the things I don't want and get very clear on what I want, right? What I'm manifesting and where I see myself, and then work wherever you can work. So just started applying to wherever, right? And I didn't even have no transportation. My bike was transportation at that point. And I wasn't feeling guided or called to ask anybody to give me rides back and forth or anything like that, right? No hammies, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I ain't got, wherever I get a job, like, what if I get a job that's on the other side of town? Get on the bus. Get on the bus. That's what I had to do. I was like, oh shit, I ain't been on no damn bus since I was in high school. You mean to tell me I gotta get on a public bus? I ain't never on no public bus, Lord. No. I was on the public bus. So, yeah, I just started applying to everywhere. And, the first thing that I got was, I was doing TaskRabbit, but I wasn't doing that too much because I didn't have no car. I didn't have no real transportation. And so I got a seasonal job at Tesla, and I was like, okay, I'm on, right? I'm working for Tesla. This is fire. I had to, and it was a 2-week trial, and I had to ride the bus to get there. I had to ride the bus and my bike. So I would get on the bus early in the morning, make sure I'm getting there on time, and ride my bike the rest of the way, and try to be dressed to impress, and tie my bike up where people couldn't see that I just rode my bike and the bus on there, because I'm pulling up looking clean. You would never know. Okay. And so I was working my behind off. When I tell you I was working so hard, I was running circles around everybody. Okay, and everybody could see. I was just hustling, going there looking good, hustling. And pretty much all I was doing for the job was, preparing the cars to be sold. Like, they would get washed, and then pretty much, I don't even know what you would call it, but we would have to put the registration or the paperwork inside the car. It's just like a totally different situation than regular car sales. I wasn't even selling anything. There was nothing to sell. People buy the car online. There's no sales. So, pretty much putting the paperwork in the car, driving the car around. So I'm driving, I drove every single type of Tesla, and parking it in its designated parking spot, and making sure your little stuff is clean, everything, everything's together, and then register it in a little app, and that's it. I'm like, this is nothing. This ain't nothing. But it was a lot of walking back and forth, hustling, going around, trying to find the car, making sure it's washed. And then, when it wasn't ready or washed or whatever, I started cleaning. I'm like, well, shit, I'm not doing nothing. I might as well, start wiping down cars, whatever. Do you need me to help? You need me to do something? And then other people started working hard like me, because they're like, oh, this girl, she's not playing. She's over here. Sheesh. Right? And long story short, these motherfuckers didn't even give me the job. 2 weeks. And they even had this girl, she was like, who was like already working there. She's like, man, please hire her, because I ain't never seen nobody work this hard. And she on it, right? Is another black woman. See, black women have always been very supportive to me, right? I've had a few that was just like shady, but in my life, black women have been the most supportive, types of people that I've ever, encountered and being around. Shout out, I love my black women, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so, but these fools didn't hire me. And there's a quote in that book that talks in that last chapter, it talks about the luckiest man in Babylon, and it talked about how don't mind if people don't appreciate your work, because good work is good for the man, right? It makes you a better man. They said better man, whatever, makes you a better person. Working hard And doing good work makes you a better person. It builds your character. So even if the person that you're working for doesn't appreciate the work that you do, it makes you a better person to when you move to the next place or you go to the next level in your life, your character has been built, right? And there's so many people that get brainwashed on social media. They think, oh, I don't want to work. I'm tired of working. I don't want to work for no man. I don't want nobody telling me nothing to do. And they think they're going to be able to carry that same energy. They think that entrepreneurship and starting your own business is going to be a way to not work. You're going to end up, if you actually want it to be successful, if you want it to actually work, if you want your business to actually work and you're trying to build it from the ground up, you're going to have to work 2, 3, 4, 5 times harder than what you was working for somebody else. So that whole mindset is a mindset that, now that's the type of broke that you don't want to be, okay? And so, and that's the kind of broke a lot of people are right now, okay? And so, especially a lot of pro-black, man, I ain't working for the white man. I'm going to start my own thing. I'm a hustler, you know what I'm saying? I'm a hustling in this shit. I'm hustling. I got my own t-shirts, got my own. Boy, you ain't got shit. You ain't worked a day in your life. And then be judging women or judging other people that's working they behind all you doing all that work for the white man. You do that, they gotta tell you what you do. Boy, I'm paying for your goddamn lunch. Be quiet. Shut your. But anyway, so I work my behind off. These fools didn't hire me. I'm like, wow. And then at the same time, I had applied to work at Amazon. You know, you working at Amazon, you got to be a damn Amazon woman working at Amazon because they're going to work you behind. And so I ended up working at Amazon. But to work at Amazon, I had to have transportation because the bus didn't go there. And it was crazy. It was like the little check, I got maybe 1 or 2 checks. And even the check that I got, I was struggling to pay for, at that time when I was working there, I was struggling to pay for the bus ride to get to Tesla. I'm talking brokety. We're talking about broke. This how much it costs for the bus? $1.25. Bitch was struggling to scrape together $1.25 in this piece. I was selling things to get the $1.25. Okay. Brokety broke. But I did it. And then I was supposed to get my first check from Tesla. And these fools talking about, we've been hacked. I said, you been hacked? Now, I'm holding out thinking, okay, I'm going to get this check. I'm going to get this nice check because I worked extra hours. I was hustling. I was, I got some overtime. And I'm finally going to get a lump sum so I could do something with, give me a car real quick. Okay. And these fools talking about, we have been hacked. We don't know when you're going to get your check. Boy, I had to recollect all my spiritual principles that I had been developing for the past years to not cuss somebody out. Okay. And so, and I had to wait for wait for it. And I finally got my lump sum. And it was just, there's so many synchronicities at that time. It was just like everything is coming together. And I had just enough money to get a car. So I Ubered and I was able to pay a little lump sum. And it was just like I was guided to the exact right person to talk to, the exact right person to get. I was like, whatever y'all got. At this point, before I was bougie, I'd be like, okay, you know what I want? This is what I want. I said, give me what you got. Give me what you got. Whatever you got, I can get, give it to me. And I got it. And so when I got that card, then it was like, okay, game over. Now I could do some stuff. Now I could do TaskRabbit. I was working at Amazon. And also when I first started working at Amazon, I had to pay for a Turo because I couldn't use the bus. So I was like, I'm paying all this money for Turo and I'm pretty much breaking even. So I can't do this anymore. So then I was like, okay, I got to get this car. And then I was guided to the exact right person. I'm talking, wow. And so got the card. Then when I got the card, then I was able to do TaskRabbit. If you don't know what TaskRabbit is, it's where you can do all kind of different tasks like organization, putting furniture together, and move, helping people move, different things like that. And so I was specialized in furniture, putting furniture together, and organization. I had no idea what I was doing putting furniture together at first, but I learned as I was going, and I was like, I'm just gonna work hard and then just gonna do whatever, right? And so I did that hardcore, and I was ready to turn that into a whole business. Came up with my own name, Task Tacklers, in this piece. Okay, we ain't no rabbits, black ass rabbits. I'm tackling tasks in this piece. I got a jersey. I got a football jersey talking about task tacklers. You feel me? And so if I need to tackle a task, I'll throw the daggone jersey on right now today. Okay? That whole experience humbled me. I'm talking humble. I'll do the work. What work you need? I'm not too good for working. I'm not too good to work. Okay? And so I started doing really well with TaskRabbit. If y'all ever need a hustle, if y'all need a side hustle or a front hustle or a middle hustle or a main hustle, TaskRabbit, I'm talking. I was making some good money with TaskRabbit, but it was I realized there was a cap on my time. Like there's only so many hours I could work. But it was something I could do independently, and I had to have nobody telling me what to do like that. And the way my personality is set up, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to work hard, but at the same time, you're just not going to, no. You're not going to, you feel me? So that was just the perfect thing for me at the time. And I did that. It got really good at that. And what really propelled me, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It's getting long. It's an hour and a half now. And we're getting towards the end. What really propelled me is I met somebody who and I don't want to go too deep in detail, whatever, but I met somebody who I was able to transmute sex energy with, and I'll go deeper into transmutation of sex energy maybe on another video. But pretty much this girl that I love, fine. I was like, well, goddamn, she fine. I feel like she like me. And, it might, who knows, it might be something. Because I'm feeling the way I ain't never felt in my life. This is different, right? And it started making me think about things differently and, like, wanting to level up financially, even, like, get to the point where I'm, like, making me feel like I want to make 6 figures. Forget this. I'm ready to really, take it to the next level. And with that energy, it motivated me. It kept me motivated to keep working hard. But then I attracted an opportunity. I'm talking these spiritual principles. I'm telling you, the law of attraction, but also like gratitude, also, diligence, working hard, just all kind of just putting it together, joy, just putting all my things that I've been learning together. And attracted an opportunity. And at first I was reneging on it, but then I was transmuting that energy. I'm like, I'm trying to make 6 figures. I'm trying to level up. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that's how women, it doesn't even have to be women, but when you transmute sex energy and you start to see maybe you having a life with somebody else and wanting to help provide or work and build with somebody else, then, it takes you to the next level. And so I took that opportunity, and I'm talking, and it was sales. I'm a beast. I'm just telling you right now, I'm a beast. You see this mouthpiece, how I'm using this mouthpiece right now? I'm use that to sell, and especially to something I'm passionate about. Oh, what? And it was a opportunity where I could make really good money with good commission, and I was already on the grind with my mindset on working really hard. So you combine it, and because with sales, it's very much about energy. It's about, keeping yourself in a high vibe, but also like, if you combine that high energy, you combine it with skill, because I have a lot of skill when it comes to sales, because I read a lot about psychology, and it was selling something that I have testimonials behind. I'm just like, it was just so perfect. It was such a perfect opportunity at the time. And combine that with working really hard. Oh, your girl went off. Your girl went off. I came in like a rock. I came in there. I know I did nothing. I came in there busting heads. I was the only girl in there busting heads. After I came in there, I was like, oh shit, we need to hire some more women. What are we doing? Right? That's how people be. And I'm like, I'm going off. And, I was going to say long story short. Ain't no short. This has been an hour and a half. But that was what took me to that 6-figure mark. Was ultimately, it was a journey. I'm not going to say it sells, because there's all kind of sales jobs. There's people that with that actual job, with that exact job, that didn't make no damn money. They didn't make no daggone money. Right? So it was a combination. I'm going to say it was just sales. But of course, sales is something where there's no cap. There's no cap. And I wasn't capping. I was done capping. And this job ain't got no cap. Oh, unless people want to hate and trip, and I had to deal with that. But even then, I was like, okay, now we just raking it in at this point. And I'm talking multiplication. I'm talking multiplication in this piece. All right. I'm talking my high month. Okay. My high month doing TaskRabbit, which I was doing pretty good. My high month became my week. That's how much I was making in a week. In a matter of a month or two. I'm talking quantum leaps. I'm talking, I was out here, I'm like, Lord, what? And so, like, in a world where we're constantly being told that, you can't be successful unless you sell your soul, or you do some kind of, you got to do a little thing, get a little thing. And even in that, there's a lot of people that was kissing behind, doing all that. What you gotta do? We're in sales. Just sell, motherfucker. Just sell. Just do what you need to do. Work. You see? And so, and it makes me think back, like, Tesla didn't hire me. I'm so glad Tesla did not hire me. Imagine if Tesla would have hired me. I still would be running around doing getting an hourly pay. Okay? I'm pretty sure I would not have been, wouldn't have received it the same way. And it's just like, it was just so, everything was just so aligned. It was just so aligned. And it just really showed me what it looks like when you're thriving. And I had already came up with the, a few years ago that I changed it to Thriving Artist University. And I didn't fully understand it, and the studio really didn't even fit really with that name, right? And then even same thing with AnokhiTheOne, like AnokhiTheOne, I wasn't even ready for that name when it came to me. I didn't even understand it. I didn't even know what it meant really. I just liked the way it sounded, right? I didn't even fully know what it meant. It took me years to even understand what my own name meant, right? Same thing with Thriving Artist University. I was super nervous about that name, and I didn't even fully understand, and I still don't 100% know how that's going to play out, right? But it's like, it's like God wanted me to thrive first, right? Do it yourself. Do it for you. And then, right, while you're in an abundant place, right, when I'm taking care of you, is what the Lord saying to me, then you can break these things down for other people, right? And, allow them to follow in your footsteps, or whatever the case may be, right? And so, and it's hard to do that when you're struggling, okay? And even though you're trying to help other people, whatever you want to, you see the vision, but take care of you first, right? And so, that's what that really allowed me to do and to see. And it was also in a company structured the way, Thriving Artist University will be structured, right? So it's not that I'm not just working blindly in some place where I'm just doing sales and random, like it's everything is aligned, right? Everything is aligned and everything is building blocks. So me hustling, working hard, I'm not just working for some man or something. You're working hard, but because you have a definite chief aim, because you're clear on your goals or your vision, where you're going, right? People may judge you for working at doing TaskRabbit. They may judge you for riding the bus. They may judge you for working at Tesla. They may judge you for working at Amazon. They may judge you for working in sales and making 6 figures. They may judge you for you can judge all day long, but you don't see the vision. You don't know where I'm going, right? Even when I was struggling to find food, it's so dramatic, but literally this time last year, I'm talking about, this time last year is when I was writing down my goals, saying this is what I want to do. I'm broke, busted, and disgusted. I'm thankful for this, that, and the third. This time last year, 1 year ago, I was, this is where I was at. This time last year. So now for y'all listening to this time next year, it can be the same for you. This is crazy. I didn't even put that together. This time last year, I was riding on the damn bus. Okay. I was riding on the bus, hoping to get to Tesla on time. So, I can eventually get broke. Lights cutting on and off. This time last year, and now this year, I done made 6 figures. I couldn't even fathom making 6 figures that year. I thought that was going to be years in the future. I'm talking. But when I'm saying, when you are aligned, the way the Lord works in mysterious ways, I'm talking. It's crazy. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Took me a long time to get here, but it ain't take me a long time to get here. Y'all listening to this story in an hour and a half. This was a whole year. This was years and years time. But that's just wild. This time last year. So like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think in the comments about this very long story, but very much needed story. If you have parts of it that you want me to break down and talk about more of, or whatever you want, you got suggestions on more content, because I'm planning on making more content, comment below, and I'll see y'all on the next video.